What is up, Internet? It's Tuesday. It's the 7:34 from WCCO. Glad to have you with us here on Facebook. I'm Jason DeRusha. Thanks for hanging out with us this morning. We always appreciate this time we spend together, and we're going to get you up to date with the weather right off the bat because today's going to be kind of an unsettled day. It could be huge rains depending on where this storm system sets up. We'll start with the weather, pretty hot and muggy. It's hot out there right now, isn't it? Already. What's the temperature right now? It's about 70, 72. Pretty warm. By noon, it's going to be 82 already. And then this afternoon, the rain starts. We're looking at around 4 o'clock when that chance comes in, and then could be very heavy rain tonight. So be on guard for that. We'll keep you updated here on Facebook and on the WCCO app as well. Let's show you a little traffic update as well. This has been tying up traffic right in downtown Minneapolis. It's affecting traffic on 35W. This is 94. It's right where kind of 94 and 55 and 35W all come together. You see that pickup truck right in the center of your screen about to be loaded onto a tow truck. So that should be cleared out. You know, if you're watching this at 8 or 9 o'clock, this is gone for sure. But at 7:35, not good. Not good. So they're getting that out of there, and just be aware of that. Let's talk about this. Minnesota getting ready to turn the dial again, as the governor says, and reopening the state. Tomorrow, restaurants will be able to open up indoors at 50% capacity. We went out to Lord Fletcher's on Lake Minnetonka, talked to the people at Hazelwood Grill and Tap Room as well. A couple of restaurants kind of getting ready for indoor seating. Things will be a little different. You'll see employees wearing masks and gloves. You'll see disposable salt and pepper and ketchup. A lot of places will use digital menus, so maybe you'll check a menu on your phone. Yeah, that's kind of interesting, right? Some disposable menus. So we'll see. Things will look different, but it's been nearly 3 months since dining rooms have been open. I wanted to know, are you looking forward to eating inside restaurants again? Is there a restaurant you're going to hit up first? Share your comments on the WCCO TV Facebook page. I just went to my first patio. We went to a patio for lunch on Sunday and a different one for dinner on Sunday, and I wrote about that at minnesotamonthly.com if you want to check that out. So we'll share some of your thoughts in just a minute. Big news story today here in the Twin Cities and all around the United States. George Floyd's funeral. He will be buried today after that funeral service in Houston. That's the city where he grew up. Much of his family still in Houston. There will be a 6-hour public view. Well, there was that 6-hour public viewing we saw yesterday. Quite a long line of mourners paying their final respects to Floyd. Because of COVID-19, you see people wearing masks. They were required to do that. The church's capacity is 2,000, but only 500 allowed inside due to restrictions. Look at the lines outside. People visiting said, you know, obviously most people didn't know George Floyd, who came out there, but they're there to voice their feelings about his death and issues with police. We caught up with a Minnesotan who said he felt compelled to make the trip down to Texas.
And I was a part of some of the protests up in Minnesota. But I'm here primarily today because I want to pay my final respects. I also want to kind of experience what's going on, because this isn't a small situation, a small story. This is huge. My hope is that the dynamics can be changed in terms of race relations in this country.
Yeah, I think we all share that hope, right? The show of support overwhelmed Floyd's brother. Joining him were family members of other African Americans killed by police, including the mother of Eric Garner and the family of Ahmaud Arbery. WCCO will have special coverage from Houston again today. Jeff Wagner in Houston reporting last night. He'll have a special report on mid-morning, and then we will broadcast the funeral service live on TV and CBSN Minnesota starting at 11. At 38th in Chicago, watch this. Some people out there put up a sign symbolically renaming Chicago Avenue to George Floyd Avenue. Been a push to do this since George Floyd lost his life at that intersection over 2 weeks ago. We'll see if the city takes any formal action on that. Bail for the former Minneapolis police officer accused of Floyd's death has been set, and it's $1 million. Derek Chauvin appeared in court by video link. The state transferred him to a maximum security prison in Oak Park Heights. Usually, if you're awaiting trial, you'd be in a county jail, but the state is running this prosecution, and the county asked him to move out of there as protesters were going into the Hennepin County Jail arrested for violating curfew. They didn't want them to cross paths. Chauvin wore a face mask and handcuffs throughout the hearing, orange prison jumpsuit. Video from Floyd's arrest, as you know, shows Chauvin pressing his knee into Floyd's neck for several minutes. Chauvin, the other 3 officers charged in the case, will be back in court. At least they're scheduled to be back in court on June 29th. A county judge approved an order forcing Minneapolis police to make immediate changes in response to an ongoing civil rights investigation. Rules include a ban on the use of neck restraints and chokeholds. Officers have to report any unauthorized use of force and physically intervene if necessary, and the chief must make timely and transparent discipline decisions. President Donald Trump, is anyone surprised by this? He is criticizing the push to end policing or dismantle the police in Minneapolis.
It's going to be very sad situation if they did, because people aren't going to be protected.
Of course, no one's talking about dismantling or ending policing. They're talking about dismantling the police. President made the comment during a meeting with members of law enforcement at the White House. They discussed how to improve policing across the country, but certainly the Minneapolis City Council decision has become a hot button all over the United States. St. Paul man due in court today. What do you guys think of this guy? He is charged with helping burn down the Minneapolis Police 3rd Precinct. Here's investigators' story, right? So bear in mind, this is what they're saying, but they say they found 23-year-old Brandon Wolf wearing a bunch of items he stole from the precinct. And here's some of the photos. Handcuffs, a knife, baton, body armor. You see the duct tape there on the picture on the right, where he wrote his last name on the back of the body armor that authorities say he stole from the precinct. Investigators say Wolf admitted it. He admitted stealing the gear, and they say he also admitted rolling this wooden barrel on the burning precinct to keep the fire going. And then we say, what do you think about this? Law enforcement saying it intentionally slashed dozens of car tires during the protest after George Floyd's death.
It's incredible to see just how many cars all left here won't be able to leave here.
That's Jeff Wagner. He was live out in the Kmart parking lot on May 30th and noticed all of the slashed tires. Protesters there also at Nicollet and Lake pointed out all of those slashed tires. So it turns out the state did it. The Department of Public Safety says state patrol troopers were the ones deflating the tires. They were doing it so the cars couldn't be used in attacks, so they could tow them later to collect evidence. A lot of questions about whether that strategy made any sense, whether it's even a legal thing to do. State health officials have urged protesters or anybody who helped clean up some of the damage to go get a COVID-19 test. And when they first urged this, a lot of people reached out to us and said, where? Like, I can't go to the doctor with no symptoms and get a COVID-19 test. There are only a handful of spots in the area. I only found 3 in Minneapolis that were offering testing. Well, now the state's stepping in and doing it. Pretty cool. Free testing in the same areas where the protests were. So this is going to be every Tuesday and Wednesday for the next 3 weeks from noon to 6. So you have a time window here. But you might want to get tested sooner rather than later, right? In Minneapolis, Holy Trinity Church, Sabathani Community Center, and New Salem Baptist Church. And then there's a spot in St. Paul, the Oxford Community Center, as a new testing site. And it's not just recommended for protesters. If you went out and volunteered, if you cleaned up, if you handed out water, anybody around crowds encouraged to get a test. Department of Health, twofold purpose here. One, they want to make sure if you are positive, testing positive, that you stay away from people. The other thing is, this is really a fascinating research opportunity. We think that there will be a high potential of transmission when you're in large crowds like this, but also you're outside. So if there are no big spikes in COVID cases, maybe you look and say, hey, we can open up graduations, more outdoor stuff. You can have all that happen. So the tests are free. No insurance is needed for that. The dials turn tomorrow. Gyms reopening around the state. They'll be operating at 25% capacity, some requiring masks indoors, others just making them available at gyms like Lifetime. They'll still be doing group fitness classes, but you have to make a reservation so they can possibly properly distance the class. They'll do a lot of extra cleaning, too. If you don't feel safe going back in quite yet, a lot of fitness centers are still offering online classes for you. Edina Art Fair, Dunzo, not happening. Organizers moved it to August. They said, maybe we'll be ready to have it in August because of COVID concerns, but they say, look, it's not looking good. best for everybody to cancel. Speaking of moving those dials forward, let's get back to today's talker, which is about whether or not you're ready to dine in at restaurants. Our digital guy, Eric, is here. Are people ready, Eric, or not? Some are, some aren't.
Patio, maybe more so.
Yeah,
the more comfort level there than actually.
I was nervous going to the patio this weekend. I wasn't sure. I was worried it was going to seem like a chore instead of fun. And it was fun. I really liked
doing
it.
your homework.
Yeah.
Some places people have mentioned. Michelle said Spoon and Stable is on the list.
That would be fun to get back
right
there.
off the bat. Just start with a big one. Bobby said first sit-down restaurant we went to already in Baldwin, Wisconsin, the A&W there.
Ah, nice.
Exactly.
Little chili dog for you, maybe.
Steve says all caps ready. Brits Pub, Fletcher's, and Maynard's are on the list.
I think people are going to find when they go back, you realize like how much you missed it and how much you enjoy that, you know.
Yeah.
It was nice to have someone bring me a cocktail that I didn't have to make.
Oh, exactly.
It's like, ooh.
Or supply your own booze.
I can order something and someone brings it. It's magical.
John says my favorite breakfast diner, the Coffee Cup on Randolph and St.
Oh,
Paul.
nice. Yeah, that's a great spot.
So I was thinking, like, I've done so much curbside. I've really eaten out pretty much every week since the beginning. But the one thing that I've kind of steered clear of is pasta, because that kind of needs to be served
fresh and hot,
right off the bat. So I'm looking forward to going to like Broder's or Italian Eatery or
Yeah, I've been thinking about this too. I'm not sure if I'm 100% ready to go inside a restaurant yet, but I felt that way about a patio, and then I did it, and then I went twice in the same day. So I guess I'm ready. Like you just got to dive in, I guess, or not. Like some people aren't ready, and I think that's cool too, right? Like do take care of yourself.
PB&J is always an option.
That's right, and very cheap too, so you save some money. That's it for us on the 734. I'm taking a couple of days off, so don't freak out when you tune in tomorrow at 734, and either Ali Lucia or Heather Brown will be with you. Have a great day, everybody.